Hey review family, keep it tight. My name is Jay Morse, the review guy, reviewing music for the love of music, and I'm back again to bring you another video, and in this one I'm going to be covering the new Apocalyptica record entitled Cell-0. Apocalyptica has been kicking for a while, and they have a strong, radiant discography that really does embody the Finnish symphonic metal scene. For those of you that didn't know, which I feel like most metal fans are going to understand this, Finland is a hotspot when it comes to symphonic metal, neoclassical metal, doom metal, and just different gothic varieties of them. Dreamtale, Finnish. Before the Dawn, Finnish. Nightwish, Finnish. I could go on. However, Apocalyptica is a band I've never found that much flavor in. I always found their sound to be a little bit too much, a little bit too over the top, a little bit too tedious. Especially when they're pushing into extremely long song lengths. The band doesn't usually like playing around with vocals. This album has no vocals, which on paper is fine. Instrumental music can very much speak for itself. Some of my favorite electronic albums, post-rock and post-metal albums, as well as some of my favorite math rock albums, consist of no vocals. And that's not even getting on the topic of how OST music has a way of speaking to the soul as well, whether you're talking about video game music or soundtracks for movies. And on that subject, many of these sections feel like they could do a great job of soundtracking a movie, or just serve as instrumental music. But many portions I do feel like could be more epic, could be more eventful, could have more magnitude to them, and more stick to them if they had vocals. But that's not the case. You're pretty much just getting a mixture of uplifting and empowering instrumentals and foreboding, dark, and empty instrumentals. Ones that sound almost doom and gloom, that sound dreary, that sound deadly. The mixture of cellos and heavy metal would sound a lot more fresh if Apocalyptica didn't sound the same since their formation. I mean, all things considered, they've pretty much stayed in the same wheelhouse since their career started in the early 90s. Without that much variation, and when there are exceptions, it's just them bringing in a different instrumentalist that plays a different instrument or a guest vocalist. And considering they have a fairly extensive discography, I wouldn't necessarily say that that is enough to set them apart entirely nowadays. Many of my gripes can be shown through the lens of the self-titled track. It starts off with one of the most tense introductions that I've heard as of late, but that's exactly what it is, an introduction, a massive introduction that never gets fulfilled. This album has that feeling. It's equally as over the top as it is patience testing. It's trying to be a slow burner, but it leaves anything that could make it sound more expansive on the back burner. It feels like it's endlessly building up to a magnitude that it never reaches. Within mere minutes of them delving into some of their longest tracks on this record, which breached the 6-minute mark, the self-titled track reaching almost 10 minutes long, they've pretty much already worn out their mystique. And all that is left is just a husk that seemingly has already reached its plateau long before it reaches the midway mark. And when they do have a dusky or a grisly track like Fire and Ice, with its plucked strings, great guitar work that sounds like it's straight out of some great RPG and rolling percussion, they don't make it loud. And loudness doesn't even matter that much, but when you're trying to make something sound epic, you're not doing that good of a job, considering it doesn't sound that magnetic, it doesn't have enough power to it, it doesn't have enough push to it, and you clearly have the proficiency, you clearly have the expertise and the finesse to be able to make something that sounds great, but you're not executing it in a way that sounds wise, that sounds good. It's like you're lacking the pragmatism to make something that is bigger than the sum of its parts. And they're riding or dying on their instrumentals. The success of this album is pretty much entirely dependent on how the instrumentals sound, and they just don't sound that good. It's like it has everything there. It's like they're following a blueprint, they're following the framework. It just doesn't come out the other side smelling very good. Call My Name is yet another track with so much intrigue, so much tension that never goes fulfilled. It literally is blue-balling me. That's what this album is! It's blue-balling the listener to a high caliber! That is the funniest comparison I could have come up with. It's blue-balling the listener! It's a big missed opportunity. That's how I feel about it. A missed opportunity that could have been so much better, but just fell so flat that I'm just very about it. I just don't care. I really don't care. That's why this album is going to be getting a 5 out of 10. And that is a wrap. Have you heard this new Apocalyptica record, Cell-0? If you have, let me know in the comment section below what you thought about this record. I would love to discuss it with you. Maybe you felt different than me. Like this video if you enjoyed it, subscribe to join the review family today, and smash that notification bell to be notified of my future uploads. You know who it is. My name is Jay Morris, the Review Guy, and I'm signing off saying fair.